Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of 3 True Neighbor Horror Stories animated. As you can see, I just got done eating, of course, and I just wanted to make part 2 real fast, even though I was about to go outside because my cousins are here, and so I really wanted to play with them, but I didn't want to watch the rest of this to see what happened. So please, let's get on with the video.
He screamed from the creep himself, but that didn't matter.
Wait. Okay, so I forgot to give you a recap. If you didn't remember part 1, so this weirdo Albert Einstein wannabe wanted to, I guess wanted to lay the girl, but then she kicked him out, but then I think he killed her. And then whenever that guy, that one is right here, see him right there, yeah, him. He tried going in the house, and then the Albert Einstein wannabe closed the door on his fingers, and now he was mad. He kicked the door, and the door swung open. So yeah, that's just a summary of the whole thing. And the Albert Einstein wannabe is the creep of the neighborhood. So yeah, let's get back onto the video. Also,
I caught a glimpse through his doorway and into his living
sorry.
where my good neighbor had gone. She was
Whoa.
chopped up into several pieces, arranged on the
Should I
floor
send
as
that?
part of some
I feel like I
ritual
should
involving
censor that.
drawings in her blood, and a lot of her dirty laundry, which I assume he stole. Dozens of bloody bras were strung around his room, along with several clumps of Lily's ginger hair, some pieces with scalps still attached to it. The sight was unbearable. I'd seen enough for a morning. I didn't want to fight a guy who chops up bodies, or be his neighbor, for that matter. It was a terrible tragedy.
Call the
happened to that girl,
police.
and I feel stupid and guilty to this day, knowing that I might have been able to do something about it, but didn't even try. I didn't stay for long. Right after I got on the phone with the police,
Good.
I called my landlord and broke my lease. I couldn't believe I was able to sleep through the murder of my neighbor. All I can say is, this is the last time I will ever rent out a cheap room, because you truly get what you pay for.
I mean, we just don't know where she is.
What about the parking lot area? I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
They took out a body there. They lit it up with papers in it. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Who in that complex do I need to talk to?
I don't know.
Tell me. I want to know.
Whoa. This was true.
Why is there blood in your bathroom? Yes, you do know. Why, Steven? Who did it?
I don't know.
Wow. Wow.
This is a deadly tale that would leave one shook to their very core. What makes things worse?
Before we get on to this, I just want to say that last one was really good, and I actually like that. So, I will rate it a 9.5 out of 10 because that was very interesting, and it's funny and good. It's funny and good, but it was also really interesting that they actually put the video of the real killer at the end. So yeah.
This is a deadly tale that would leave one shook to their very core. What makes things worse was how I had to experience it and live to tell about it. The depictions of what transpired are very disturbing, and to what some would refer to as inhumane. I still don't understand why things happened the way they did. All I know is that I am truly scarred for the rest of my life. It all started when I was in my late 20s. I was currently living with my parents and had saved up a considerable amount financially. Of course, being in my late 20s, I desperately wanted to move out. So I began looking for some real estate agents to help search for an affordable house. After a month or two of heavy searching, I found a local agent who had a decent amount of experience.
Whoa.
I remember he was showcasing a house for sale that was about an hour away from my parents' place. My agent ended up scheduling an open house appointment so that I could take a house tour to see if I was interested. When that day finally arrived, my agent and my dad and I drove to the destination on a Sunday afternoon. On our way there, I recall seeing dozens of farms, farm animals, and farmers. This part of town was obviously where the countryside was. So it was quite the drastic change
Sorry, guys,
compared
I'm
to
back.
the city life I was used to. When we arrived there, I remember seeing a decent-sized home with a for sale sign on the lawn. At first glance, the house looked pretty decent. I could honestly tell that whoever lived in that house knew how to keep their home pretty well kept. As we made our way onto the front porch, we got greeted by a middle-aged couple. The man introduces himself and his wife as Joe and Sally. My agent introduces my dad and I respectively as we all began making our way inside the house. I recall the house not being too big, but relatively decent size.
Guys, I'm trying not to pause the video and talk a lot because I want y'all to actually look at it, you know, and watch the video without hearing me talk. But I understand because I see other YouTubers, they talk during the thing, they pause it, not even 10 seconds in. So yeah, that's what I'm trying not to do, or not trying to be like other YouTubers and like pause it and talk a long time and not get to the point. But no offense to all other YouTubers. I watch other YouTubers. Like, I can't tell you my favorite YouTubers. Actually, I can. So, yeah. My favorite YouTuber, my top fave is Eddie VR. He is, I don't know how to explain it, but it's really funny. He's really funny. My second top favorite is Cub Scouts. Yes, I love Cub Scouts still. And I used to watch him a long time ago when he posted his first Yandeer video. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's so cool to see him grow up, back then and now. I know I'm still a kid, but I'm 14. Wait. Okay, so there's something wrong with me. I'm gonna address this real quick, that I have really bad memory all the time. So please forgive me if I forget to do part 2, part 3, anything on any video. Please comment because I have memory loss and something's wrong with me. So yeah. That's all I wanted to say. But yeah, I am 13 years old, not 14 years old. I'm 13. And yeah, I watched him like 5 years ago, 4 years ago. So cool. Yeah. Anyways, let's get back onto the video. I'm sorry I talked too much.
It consisted of 2 floors with 2 bedrooms and 1 washroom. To be honest, I was already sold on the place. The house met all my needs and seemed to be in pretty pristine condition. I expressed my intentions with the homeowners and could visibly see how excited the couple got. I assumed they were excited to move out and wanted to get rid of the burden of having the house on sale. We then proceeded to make our way out of the house, and from the corner of my eye, I saw the couple looking at the ceiling with their hands clasped together, chanting a prayer.
Dang!
I found it a bit alarming, but shrugged them off,
Performing
assuming
a
they
whole
were just
exorcist.
really religious. After a week of consulting with my agent and parents, I concluded with the decision of proceeding with the purchase. The house was being sold at a surprisingly low price, which obviously fit within my budget. I ended up signing all the paperwork and put a down payment on the house. During my first day of moving in, my dad and older cousin helped me move some furniture into my new home. I recall seeing my new neighbor standing outside his front porch. He looked like an older gentleman that was roughly within his late 40s. We both made eye contact and I saw him politely waving at me. I then waved back at him and said, "Hey, you must be my new neighbor." "Indeed. My name is Sebastian, but you can call me Bash for short." "Okay, nice to meet you, Bash. I'm Jack. Do you require any help moving your belongings in?" "No, it's fine, I think." "Nonsense. Let me give you a hand." Sebastian then inserts himself with parameters and casually introduces himself to my dad and cousin. Throughout the rest of the day, we successfully moved our belongings within the household and share a few laughs with Sebastian. Despite the initial odd introduction, he turned out to be a pretty laid-back kind of guy. We all even shared a beer or two as the night was pretty swell to say the least. At around 11 p.m., my dad and cousin finally left the house, leaving Sebastian and I alone. I noticed Sebastian staring at a painting of Mona Lisa in my living room. The painting was a gift from the previous owners, so seeing him stare at it so intently was quite the scene to see. That's when I asked, "Hey, big fan of paintings, are you?" "Yes, Mona Lisa is one beautiful woman, isn't she?" Yeah. I'm the one who painted this." "Oh, really now?" "Yes, I actually gave it to the owners before you came here as a welcome to the neighborhood gift. I suppose they passed the gift to you now, huh?" "Yeah, they did. Well, if you painted this, then you are very talented, sir. May I tell you something, Jack?" Sure, man. I used to live in this house for decades, long before the previous owners did." I found Sebastian's statement a bit strange, seeing as he lived next door, so I said, "So why did you move from this house to next door?"
Comment what you think is going to happen next, because I think I have something in my mind of what's happening. Sorry for pausing the video.
"Well, my daughter ran away from home not too long ago. However, I've always wanted a bigger living space. I figured if I stayed in the area, she might come back home one day. That's why I moved next door. It also has 2 extra rooms in this house, so yeah." "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, sir. I
Excuse
hope
me.
she shows back one day." "And I also moved out because the house might be haunted." "What?" "I'm just kidding, Jack. Anyway, I'll see you around." "Okay, see you later, Bash." As Ashton heads out the front door, I couldn't help but feel a sense of paranoia from the whole haunted remark. And why the hell he would joke about such a sensitive topic regarding his daughter. Even though he said he was joking, I couldn't tell if he was bluffing or just trying to cover up the fact that the place was actually haunted. Nonetheless, I knew that when we inevitably crossed paths again, I would double down and address the bizarre remark. After about a week in the new house, I could honestly say that living there was swell, except my paranoia grew stronger as the days went by. I couldn't help but stutter every time I heard the floor creak or the wind howling from outside my window, as I attributed it to Sebastian's haunted remark. The employees at my workplace even noticed how drowsy I was every time I showed up to work. I had lost a considerable amount of sleep every day. I couldn't help but feel a little frustrated considering I hadn't seen Sebastian since the day I moved in. It was almost as if he had isolated himself in his house or had completely relocated somewhere else. It was hard to track his whereabouts as I didn't know if his vehicle was in his garage or not. This is when the story gets extremely disturbing. There was one night when I remember tossing and turning in my bed from the non-stop creaks and sounds coming from my house. I decided to get up from my bed and cautiously walk towards my bedroom door. I could hear subtle sounds coming from downstairs. It didn't sound like the typical creaking sounds I usually heard, just a subtle male voice mumbling some kind of gibberish. I made sure to tiptoe my way towards the top of the staircase. As I began making my way towards the bottom of the stairs, I attempted to not make any sounds with each gradual step I took. The mumbling sound began to intensify. Someone was definitely down there. I eventually make it halfway through the staircase and saw Sebastian standing in my living room facing the Mona Lisa painting. My first instinct was to yell, "Get the hell out of here, I'm calling the cops," but I didn't want to potentially compromise my life, so I remained crouched down with my hand over my mouth. I couldn't help but feel emotions of anger and disgust as I asked myself, why the hell is this guy in my house in the middle of the night? How the hell did he get inside? Was he the one causing the creaking sounds this whole time? Panic began rushing through my veins when I could make out some of the words he was saying. "You're in a better place now, baby girl. Daddy still loves you, okay? You were the best girl a father could ever ask for. I loved every single moment we shared. I hope you can forgive me for what I did. Just know, Daddy did what he had to do, so he wouldn't go to jail. See you in the next life, baby girl. Sleep tight." Sebastian then casually walks away as I hear him exit through the back door and lock it upon his exit. I knew he must have had a spare to the house. I made sure to keep the lights off as I didn't want to give Sebastian any indication that I had awoken. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. The operator then said,
911, what's your emergency?
"Someone just broke into my house. I think it's my neighbor."
Okay, sir. Remain on the line. We're sending a unit your way.
"Well, hurry up. He might come back."
Sir, can you please confirm your address?
That's when I placed my phone on the floor and approached one of my closets that held some outdoor equipment.
Are you still there?
I grabbed an axe and a hard hat with a flashlight attached to it and began walking
Dang.
towards the Mona Lisa portrait. I
It's
put the hard hat on
hammer
and turned on the
time.
flashlight attached to it. Now, I'm not sure what possessed me to do this, but the portrait fueled my anxiety to the point where I completely yanked it off the wall and tossed it into the corner. My speculations were accurate. There behind the painting was a patched-up component to the wall. I could tell there must have been a hole previous to the patch, considering the color of it was different compared to the rest of the interior. That's when I raised my axe and began hacking at the wall like a maniac. At this point, all I could see was red.
Oh!
Completely obliterated the wall with every bad intention I built up that night. The more destruction I caused, the more shocking secrets began unveiling themselves. There
Wow.
behind the wall, like the rotting corpse of a young girl. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was living with a dead corpse in my wall the whole time. Sirens from police cars began roaming the streets. Blue and red headlights flashed through my window and into my house. I rushed to my front door and began waving my arms profusely. After disclosing the details of the newly discovered corpse and the appearance of my neighbor in my house, the police began knocking repeatedly at his door as they couldn't barge in without a search warrant. About several minutes later, a loud bang could be heard within his house. It was later found out that Sebastian had pulled the gun on himself and completely blew his brains out. The corpse that was discovered in my house was indeed his daughter. Before I or any of the previous tenants had moved in, Sebastian had claimed that his daughter was a runaway. But the truth was, Sebastian had abused his daughter for years and eventually killed her. He hid her deceased body in the wall and patched it up before finally putting the house up for sale. Sebastian would use a famous portrait of Mona Lisa as a cover-up gift for new tenants. Some speculate that he moved next door because he wanted to further abuse the spirit of his daughter. I believe it was because the spirit of his daughter tormented him every night, the same way she did to me.
That scared me, to be honest. I was not expecting that. Okay, guys. This is how I'm gonna end it. That was interesting, and that was very interesting indeed. And that was very scary to me, the last part. If it wasn't scary to you, it was scary to me. And I feel like I need to censor that. All of it. But do you think they'll take my video down? Because this is on YouTube too. Anyways. Oh wait, I need to. Shout out to Horror Shorts Party. It's so good. I'm subscribe. Damn. Excuse me again. Anyways, look at this. Cool. Very cool. Anyways, bye guys. Hope you have a lovely day. Comment if you want a part 3, because I will do it if y'all ask.